So you have a business right now?
Mm-hmm.
Are you regulated?
Yes.
You are? Why are you regulated? You're regulated? By what? You should have the freedom to say whatever you want, to talk whatever you want. I didn't realize there's regulation on podcasts.
Notorious free speech lover Benjamin Netanyahu joined my go-to show for deep foreign policy conversations, the Full Send podcast. If you aren't a 19-year-old guy who's formed his entire identity around being in a frat, you might need a primer on what the Full Send podcast is, who the Nelk Boys are, and the hosts, Kyle Forgeard and Aaron Steinberg. They're a contingent of young YouTube dudes who've seen a recent surge in popularity. They have over 7 million subscribers on the site. They're pranksters, modern day jackasses. They've done things like film encounters with police where authorities find what looks like cocaine. We'll get into more of what Netanyahu had to say, but first, Cenk, what do you make of this idea that Netanyahu's so concerned about free speech in America?
I think he's concerned. He said, wait, somebody's regulating speech in America and doesn't report to me? I'm gonna find that guy, okay? No, it all goes through me. So this is the guy who said that if you criticize Israel, who basically is asked, on a college campus in America, you should have your diploma held from you. You should not be hired for any job. You should be arrested, denaturalized, and deported. But he's in favor of freedom of speech. What a hilarious joke. Maybe the whole thing was a prank from the Nelk Boys. Okay, I think those ears of Netanyahu are a prank. I didn't realize how large they were. Like, because normally I'm so mad about all of the genocide and war crimes that he's doing, and I have a chance to look at his ears until now. All right, anyways, but these Nelk Boys sound super smart, so I can't wait to find out what they think about foreign policy.
Right, but also that shows a great place if you want to go and talk about foreign policy and have lies and mistruths just totally go unchecked. And that's exactly what Netanyahu did. Take a look.
Why do they say Israel's like starving the people of Gaza?
Well, because we're trying to get the food in, and we let food trucks in, and guess what happens when we let them in? Hamas steals the food, takes the good chunk for itself. Then they jack up the prices, and then they sell the food to its population, to its hungry population, if they give them at all. And then use the money that they take from their own people to recruit more killers into their terror machine.
Israel would love to let the aid trucks in, but they can't.
There's nothing they could do.
Yeah.
You know, Netanyahu is Hamas's bitch. He just can't do anything. Hamas has got him all tied up in knots. He's like, I'm trying to get them food, but I can't do it. And Nelk Boys are like, drooling, is that right? Look, I mean, you just read one article, Jesus Christ, man. So none of that is true, of course. And they're literally, children are starving to death. There's a body count every day for children who starve to death because that monster terrorist Netanyahu won't let food in.
Right, it's not just that they won't let food in. They're setting up traps to lure people in with aid and then killing them. And since Full Send won't fact check Netanyahu, we will. According to the UN, as of July 15th, nearly 900 desperate and hungry Gazans have been killed in recent weeks trying to fetch food, with most deaths linked to private aid hubs run by the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. That's the US and Israel-backed aid organization. And just this weekend, at least 94 Palestinians were killed by Israeli military fire across Gaza on Sunday as they tried to get food aid, according to local health authorities and hospital morgue officials, in one of the deadliest days in recent months for those seeking assistance. As Cenk pointed out, famine is widespread. I was watching Al Jazeera this morning, and just the footage of some of these children in the hospitals who are surviving solely on IV fluid is just heartbreaking and gut-wrenching. But thankfully, the Nelk Boys were able to take some of the time they had with Netanyahu to ask him about one of the most pressing domestic issues in the US. Take a look.
What's your go-to at McDonald's?
No, I'll tell you, Burger King. We did the double,
Whopper?
I
haven't ripped Burger King in a long time.
Burger King kind of sucks.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong.
The BK Lounge can hit.
I disagree completely.
You like Burger King over McDonald's?
That's your worst take, I think.
Absolutely.
That's a crazy take.
No, that was fine. I mean, I like Burger King. The answer is yes.
Brave.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything that Netanyahu is not wrong about? It turns out the answer is no. He's wrong about every single thing, all the way through Burger King, right? But I like how these. Okay, I'm going to talk about their name for a second, and then I'll come back to the substance. You've been saying the Full Send podcast because that's their name.
Yeah.
But I didn't know their name because they're 12, right? And so I thought you were saying the Fool's End.
It's the same. It's the same thing.
I was like, but they named it like they know that they're the fools, and that's where it ends. Like you come here, this is the Fool's End. We got you. You came all the way to the end of the puzzle, and you're a fool. Okay, anyways, but they are right about McDonald's over Burger King. Okay, but what they're not right about is joking around with Hitler. Hey, I had Hitler on the podcast. I asked him, what do you think, KFC or Chick-fil-A? That's not what I would have done, okay? And so that guy that they're talking to is a monster. You can say, okay, Hitler's way worse. He killed 13 million people. Absolutely, that's totally true, okay? So you could make an argument that Mao is worse, Stalin is worse. In modern times, you could make an argument Bashar al-Assad is worse, Kim Jong-un is worse. But now we're getting to a point where, okay, all right, so top 3, top 5 most evil people in the world now, in my lifetime, he's certainly in that category. He's certainly killed more civilians than, I'm trying to think of who has killed more civilians than Netanyahu in my lifetime. I don't think Assad killed as many civilians as Netanyahu. Like we'd have to do some research to find out if there's a bigger terrorist in our lifetime than Benjamin Netanyahu, okay? Is there someone who's killed over 20,000 children, innocent civilian children? There probably is, we'll look into it, okay? But that's the type of person we're talking about. One of the worst people in our lifetimes. And like Burger King or welcome to Fool's End, okay? Oh, so you say the Palestinians are starving themselves. Well, that sounds like the right answer. Oh, you're saying the children killed themselves and you guys are a moral army. That sounds right. I mean, this is what American media has devolved to. And why does he go on that show? Because he knows a bunch of stupid patsy kids, and I'll tell them a bunch of lies and they won't challenge anything until I get to the Whopper, okay? So.
We'll get to some of the pushback from the viewers in a second, but we did want to share, he didn't pass up the opportunity to take a swipe at Mamdani. Take a look.
Even in New York City, right? What's Zoran?
Yeah.
He's an anti-Semitic guy.
Yeah.
The highest, I think the highest population of Jews in New York City. How's that even possible?
Well, it's possible because a lot of people have been taken in by this nonsense. I mean, what, you want to defund the police? You want to have people go into stores and rob them and be free? You think that really creates a good society? You want to crush all enterprise? You want to tax people to death? I mean, that's a one-term effort. But sometimes you have to get mugged by reality to understand how stupid that is. So that's silly. But sometimes folly overtakes human affairs for a while, but not for long because reality steps in.
Now, after this episode release, they quickly started to receive backlash, not just from people online, but from their own viewers. Zero pushback. You literally just let a war criminal talk freely for an hour to millions of fans. Just horrible, horrible you guys are truly, one viewer commented. I'm so happy the comment section knows how vicious and evil this man is. I can't believe Kyle is humanizing this man. Speechless. I am at a loss for words, another wrote. Later in the day on Monday, the Nelk boys hopped on a live stream to talk to people on the other side. Hassan Piker joined the live stream to point out that Netanyahu just used them. Take a look.
They're using you guys to look good.
Hassan, bro, why does anybody, Hassan, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Hassan, anyone goes on a podcast to promote whatever they're doing.
Yeah, but they're not. But Benjamin Netanyahu's not promoting a book, dog. He's promoting a genocide.
Bro,
that's the point.
There were other people that they had on the stream, Jank. I don't really want to lift up what they had to say or who they are, because some of the other people they brought on are open anti-Semites and white nationalists. Another question, judgment question for them. This is I feel let down by my favorite foreign policy podcast, Fool's End.
Okay, this is a good line by Haas. They say about Mamdani, he's an anti-Semitic guy, and it's weird because the most Jewish city in America and maybe even the world voted for him. Oh, maybe because he's not an anti-Semite and that he has criticized Israel, but Israel doesn't stand for all Jewish Americans. How do I know that? A lot of Jewish Americans voted for him. So you guys are full of crap that when you say, hey, if you're not in favor of starving Palestinian children to death as this current Israeli government is doing, then you must be anti-Semitic. No, don't say that about all Jews. It's not true. It's ironically itself an anti-Semitic statement, and you don't speak for them. And this whole idea of, oh no, Jews love a genocide, that's insane. Stop saying that. And they're only saying that to defend Israel, a foreign government. Governments do evil things, right? But putting that on all people in one race or religion is nuts. And what Netanyahu does all the time, and what the Fool's End fellas here basically aided and abetted is, they use Jews as human shields, right? Okay, Israel can do whatever it wants. It can do any war crimes, because if you criticize us, put the Jews out in front. You're attacking them. You're hating them. Oh, I'm surrounded by a wall of Jewish Americans. And so if you criticize me, you're an anti-Semite. No, stop hiding. Stop hiding behind Jewish Americans. You're a grown-up government, okay? You don't get excuses. You don't get to say, oh, I need the money. Okay, that's a separate issue, but I need it for my self-defense. You have a bigger military than the rest of the Middle East combined. In fact, you've destroyed the rest of the militaries in the Middle East by yourself. So you have nuclear arms. You have one of the top 25 economies in the world. We're forced to give you money. No, anti-Semite. You bring out the Jews, Anti-Semite, anti-Semite. But brother, I didn't say anything about Jews. I asked you about your government and how it's a top 25 government. No, I'm a Jewish state, you're not allowed to criticize. Imagine the Saudis. We're a Muslim state. You're a bigot if you criticize Saudi Arabia. So what, we chopped out one reporter, so what? Anti-Muslim. We don't, get the Muslims out there, protect us, right? Everybody would say that's moronic. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, right? Except Netanyahu didn't chop up one guy. He's already killed at a bare minimum 58,000 people. That's historic level genocide. And you guys are joking around with him. And you're letting him do some of the sickest propaganda to keep that genocide going and to have the United States citizens, including wonderful Jewish Americans who've been fighting for peace the entire time, make them pay for a genocide that smears their name. No, stop hiding. Just be an adult and say this is Israel's policy. And it stands only for Israel. It doesn't stand for all Jews across the world. It doesn't stand for anyone else. It doesn't stand for America. It doesn't stand for the West. It doesn't stand for Judeo-Christian heritage, whatever the hell that is. Okay, it only stands for the government of Israel, period. I know the boys can't understand that because they're fetuses, but then don't do a grown-up interview, okay? And Netanyahu, we all know what he is. Well, except apparently two guys who still, okay. Why, did Stalin kill anybody? I don't know, I was just doing an interview with Stalin. And I was asking him, what do you like better, nutty bars or Twinkies? So I'm a little less generous than everyone else about this interview.
Yeah, let's get to Operation Joy. Let's turn it around.
Yeah. Okay, so we took up half
easy pivot.
Yeah, we took up half the time on that. I'm still mad. Okay. No, you know why? Because, okay, super last thing. And then, I know, I can't help it. I know. Okay, because those Nelk mothers are gonna now get famous. And everybody's gonna forget that they got famous by sucking off a tyrant, right? And even look, I wouldn't even talk to them, honestly. I mean, like, I'm the guy who talks to everyone, right? That's like, but now the people who won't talk to people are talking to that piece, those pieces. Okay, what am I gonna gain from these 13-year-old who are trying to tell everybody how great a genocide is? So those guys. So I don't want them mixing around like, we got famous. Oh yeah, we're pro-genocide guys. We're famous now. And they will, and it'll make me sick. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.